God said, how long, O wicked and perverse people, do you think that you can keep doing what you want to do and your lives can be blessed? Your generation can be blessed. When you keep doing everything under the sun that you want to do and you keep ignoring God and His rules and regulations about how you're supposed to live, what do you think's going to happen when the African American people cannot live together, cannot love each other, cannot take care of each other, but are so separated all the time doing what they want to do day after day after day. And every new day God allow you to live to see, nothing changes. God has been saying over and over and over again through me that when He allowed Biden to be president, He said He was giving the people 4 years. And in those 4 years, if the people return back to Him, He said that He will think about giving the Democrats 8 years. But when the time came around for African American people to vote, you stayed home even when God said that Kamala Harris was to be the next president. You stayed home and you didn't vote. A lot of you. You did what you wanted to do, looking at money, thinking that you was going to get another rebate check from Trump. How far and how has that turned out for you? God repeatedly said over and over again through me, telling you what to do, and you ignored it. And now, because you ignored it and all the warnings that God was giving, this day has come. A day that you never imagined would. That we would be, the African American people would be back in this position. Back in the days of Jim Crow again. And every one of you who voted this president in, he didn't lie. He told you what he was going to do. And you still voted him in, thinking that some people were better than others, and that everything was going to be all right. And God just would tolerate you doing whatever you wanted to do and keep living the way you want to live worldly, planning everything you want to plan and do, and it has nothing to do with Him. Well, the warning has come to pass. The things that are happening is at your own hand. It's not at God's. So you can't blame God for the decisions that you make and you carry out on your own, when God has a whole book for you to read, for you to get your instructions, and for the life you're supposed to live. No matter how many times you think that you can walk around and do what you want to do, it's not going to happen. Because either you're going to live the way God intends for you to live, or you're going to be forced to live the way that He wants you to live. Not because He's going to force it on you to make you make decisions to acknowledge Him every day, but He's going to force you by circumstances, the circumstances that you see occurring now. God tells us to have no other God before Him. And people are so caught up in loving money when the Word tells us that the love of money is the root of all evil. But yet, look at the world and the things that are happening. And it's happening only because of people's greed and the love of money. Money is the master. People have made money their master and not God. Most of you don't even believe that God can have a prophetess to speak for him as he has called me to do. No matter what I say, you don't believe it. You people here in Alabama are so far behind. They believe that they can keep doing the same thing, keep getting the same thing, and it all will work out. Well, if you try to make it work without God, I guess you see how far that's getting you. It's not what God expected, it's not what God wanted. And he keeps warning you, just like everywhere else, when things happen there, it also can happen in Alabama. The African American people want to claim that they're the children of Israel. Well, if you read the word, you know what the children of Israel did, and you know what they went through, all the sinning. You know how many died when they went against God and went against Moses. You know how many died as they was going through the wilderness. And it was just a younger generation that came out and went into the promised land. So you know what went on if you read the word. And if you hadn't read the word, then you know the children of Israel was a perverse and sinful generation of people. And you saw all the things, or you know all the things, or you have heard about all the things that God allowed to come upon them because of their sinfulness, the rejection of God, even when he brought them through everything, feeding them with manna, having water to come from a rock. And they still was in unbelief and denial. And they still wanted to do what they want to do. And this generation of African American people is no different than the children of Israel. Think about it. Why has God allowed Dr. King to bring African American people so far and others who have lost their lives? And yet here we are right back in that same place, almost that they fought and died for. You can't say it doesn't affect you personally, because it does. Every time I vote, I go vote because I think about the lives that was lost, the beatings, and everything that our ancestors went through. It makes me get up and go to vote because they gave me the right to do that. They made the way for me to do that. And they paid the ultimate sacrifice with their lives just so we could have that right. And many of you just took it for granted. Oh, my vote don't count. What you think about now if you don't even have the right to vote? What you think about now if they're taking everything away from the African American people that has been given freely to you through the lives of someone else. And that's sad. It's a shame that people has to be forced to do what is right because it's right. So many of you are so blind and just going through the motion every day. And then you'll talk about someone who are really trying to live their life for God and not a part of the world, which you cannot understand that when you're living for God and when it's real, you don't care about what the world do. You don't try to be a part of the world, but you'll sit up and talk about someone who is. That's all they do. They never go anywhere. They never do anything. Well, that person or those people have lives. They know who they are. The people who don't do that don't know how to be in the world and not of it. You're the ones who are losing, not the ones who live their lives for God, because they have life, eternal life with God. The reason God don't allow me to post a lot of writings anymore is because he has given each and every one of us free will. All we have to do, all you all have to do is pick up that Bible and read it. You can make the decision to spend time with God, to read his word, to know what it says, so that you can live in the way that God will have you to live. But majority of you thinking you're so blessed in your sin, just because you have a house, just because you have a car, just because you have money, you call that blessed. That's not blessed. A blessed life It's what's on the inside of you. It's what heavens want you to have that's on the inside of you. And that you're seeking after God to receive that. Not because you have material goods. That's just an added bonus that God allow you to have when you are seeking Him, His kingdom and His righteousness. He said, seek first His kingdom and His righteousness, and all these things shall be added. It's not about Him give. He gives you things, those who are not living for Him, just so that you can see how good He is, even though you don't deserve it. That's what it's about. So that you will turn to Him. But majority of you, 9 times out of 10, you will go in the other direction thinking that you got those things on your own by your education, your work, and by the money that you worked for it. And that's not true. God only gives you those things and allow you to enjoy those things so that you can see His goodness and that you would turn to Him. And you never do. And you hadn't. That's why the African American people are in so much trouble today. It's because you don't know the Word of God. You don't try to know Him. You don't try to understand how He works and how you're supposed to live and treat each other in love as Jesus has commanded us to love. You all think that living the ways you're living, the ways of the world, to be seen by other people, what you have, what you drive, what you're wearing, and you think that's everything, when in reality it's nothing. Stuff that fades away. God wants you to have the eternal things and learn what that means. Because when God gives you eternal things, those things will last. God give you everything that He allow you to have for His kingdom. It doesn't matter, no matter what it is, whether it's money, whether it's homes or cars or whatever. There's always something or somebody that needs your help and that you can share those things with. Everything that God gives to us, He wants us to share with someone else. It's not about uh, giving people your homes or your cars. No, that's not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about you can invite someone in for a meal or to stay a night if you know who they are and they don't have a roof over their heads. I'm talking about clothes that may not have that you can give to people who are less fortunate. I'm talking about giving people a ride if they need it, to the doctor, to the grocery store, elderly people. There's always a way to help others. When many of you only looks at yourself because it's always about the eyes. So it's time, people, that you open your eyes in the truth of God and not looking at yourself in the way this world is operating. Because if you don't turn back to God, things will continue to get worse and worse. God has warned you and you didn't listen. So either you're going to turn back to God or things just going to keep going down here and you keep allowing the Antichrist to have his way.